Well, it's better to grow old with a sense of humor than not grow old with no sense at all. And this is thoughts while thinking, and these opinions are mine. And I'm not worried anymore about growing old and alone. I enjoy my own company and I embrace my solitude, and I'm my own bright shining star. And I'm enjoying it, and I love people, and I love to get around them too. And for years I've said, how old would you be if you didn't know when you was born? Well, how old would you be if you didn't know when you was born? I think I'd probably be somewhere around 30 or 40 years old, or maybe less than that. I don't know. Uh, I think I'm a 20-year-old until I move, but that's a different story. And Richard Gere says that I'm old but forever young at heart. Well, now I'm forever young at heart, and I don't begin to get old. And I'm having a privilege that a lot of people don't get, but I've got a lot of experience about talking about being old. So here we go from here. Uh, growing old is you don't have to grow up. I mean, you just can stay funny and you can still have fun. You don't have to get old and grumpy. And I have no inspiration about growing old and boring. I want to be the one that your kinfolks are afraid to invite to a party. But anyway, that's the way it goes sometimes. And I'm not going to let that old man in. I'm just going to keep on going. And that's the way old folks ought to do. They don't need to get old. They just need to, and they don't even need to grow up. And we don't have to let our age control what we do. We've got to control our age. That's what we've got to strive for. And one of these days we're probably all going to drop dead at some cause or another. But you're going to live your life and be happy until that happens. And life is short, so you got to make the most of it. And growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional, and I'm glad of that because I don't want to be a grumpy old man. But I enjoy just whatever I've learned over the years, and I've learned a lot because I've made a lot of mistakes, and you don't learn nothing if you don't make a mistake. So I'm very well learned. That away we go. And I'm here to tell you, don't grow old gracefully. You just don't grow old at all. You can grow old in age, but you don't have to be getting old and grumpy. That's the way we go. And aging is out of our control, but how we handle it is in our hands. And we got to stay active, and we got to keep doing what we're doing, and don't ever let the party in. You just got to keep on growing. I'm growing older, but I'm not growing up. I'm still having fun. I still poke the bear every now and then, and that gets me in a lot of trouble. And as we grow older, we grow both more foolish and wise. And I am foolishly wise because I have grown older and not grown old. But growing old, it teaches us a lot of things. And it teaches us a lot of things not to do, and it teaches us a lot of things to do. So we got to enjoy what we need to do, and we got to enjoy growing older and wiser and learning from our mistakes every day because we make those mistakes and we learn from them, and that's a lesson. And I'm grateful for all the lessons I've learned. As we grow older and wiser, we begin to realize that. We need what we need to leave behind, and take with us what we need to take with us, and take one step forward and walk away those things that bother us. We're just working on getting better. And the tragedy of growing old is that no one thinks you're still young. They think you're old. That's the tragedy of it. People look at me and they think I'm old and they want to treat me like I'm old. But I want to be one of them. I want to be one of those urchins out there playing. And growing older is not upsetting. It's being conceived as old. It's upsetting. And I don't want to be conceived as old because I still like to play with the kids. And growing old becomes clear at certain point in time, I think that you realize that at 70 you was old, getting old. But I always thought, anybody 15 years older than me was old. So that's kind of the gauge I put on it. And as you grow older, you will understand more and more it's not about what you look like or what you own. It's about the person you become. And what kind of person have you become? You got to be older and wiser and funnier. And as you grow older, you'll discover that you have two hands, one for yourself, helping yourself, and the other for helping the other fellows. And the more you help the other fellows, the more you help yourself. That's a lesson that you learn over time. And maturity is not a product of growing older. It is a product of growing wiser. And I hope that I'm a little wiser than I was yesterday. Happiness and sadness and hard times are going to come through our lives, and we got to have faith that there's good stuff on the way. And so we got to look forward to the next day because it'll be better. And this old Indian proverb says, between who you once were and who you are becoming is where the dance of life really takes place. Now think about that. That is something to think about because I think that is something that you need to look at and consider. And I'll never regret growing older. I know a lot of people that never had that privilege, and I appreciate where I am. And there's three things that you got to think about. You don't want to, if you don't go after what you won't have it. And if you don't ask, you'll never get it. And the answer will always be no. And if you don't step forward, you'll always be in the same place. So get up and get off and get with it. Always smile more than you cry. Give more than you take. And love more than you hate. And that's the adios amigos, and we'll see you on the flip side, and I'll talk to you later.